All right, everybody, welcome to Wednesday's Groove Copy Pro. My name is Mike Filsaime. I'm CEO of Groove Digital, and joining me, as usual, every Wednesday is my awesome partner, John Benson, creator of GrooveCopyPro. What we do every single Wednesday, we're going to be doing a commercial. We were just talking about this. We're going to load these shows with kind of like a podcast opening, so I don't have to say this every single week. But what we do is we meet at 2 p.m. Is it 2 or 3? 3 p.m. Eastern time every single Wednesday for 1 hour sharp. We start at 3 and we're out of here at 4. And we talk about all things copywriting. Yeah. It's sponsored by GrooveCopyPro, which is a software created by John Benson. John Benson is one of the best copywriters living today, and probably on the Mount Rushmore of copywriters when it comes to digital marketing, especially in the health and wellness, but all types of copywriting. He's a student of all of the legends. He has made hundreds of millions of dollars for his clients, had some of the best-selling or more best-selling products in the ClickBank marketplace. He is the creator of the video sales letter known as the VSL, and he's taken all of that knowledge and all of his connections with top copywriters and marketers and put that into a software which we showcase every single week. And that software you can find out about at GrooveCopyPro.com. Now, that's a separate software from the Groove CRM app or lifetime offers or anything there. This is a software created by John Benson called CopyPro. He owns that company. GrooveCopyPro is a white label of that gives additional training on top of that software. So you could buy it at copypro.com, but just not get the additional framing and benefits of how it applies to the Groove platform. So we call that Groove Copy Pro. You could buy that at groovecopypro.com. Just go there. There's a short video, a webinar replay, pricing information, everything you need to know. It's always asked in the comments, so I'll just get it out of the way. It's a one-time price of $997 or 2 payments, I believe, of $597. After that, you never make another payment again, and you can do unlimited copywriting, emails, everything like that. So that's our quick little commercial for Groove Copy Pro and a little bit about who John Benson is. And today our topic is features and benefits and the difference between features and benefits. So I'm looking here at the camera to you. I'm going to look down here to John.
Awesome. Okay, are we on? Did we lock? Did we lose Mike? All right, let's see here.
You're still there, John. Mike froze.
Okay, Mike froze. Mike froze. So, yeah. All right, cool. Well, today's topic is going to be all about benefits and how important benefits are and why we want to we start with bullets and benefits when we write copy, generally speaking, as professional copywriters. So I want to go into a very, very, very simple benefit formula that I've used for years that I can teach you right here and now without the use of any software at all. And then we're going to show you later on how CopyPro does this and twists it around to create really cool iterations of that so that all your benefits sound really juicy. But first of all, to talk about the importance of benefits. Why is it so important to understand it? And what is the difference between a benefit of a product or service and a feature of a product or service? Now, these may sound like distinctions without differences, but these could not be further from that truth. That is absolutely not true. The differences are massive. So when people think of features of a product, I'll give you an idea. Features of a product sound something like, I bought this car and it comes with 4-wheel drive. Okay, well, that's a feature of the car. It comes with leather interior. Well, that's a feature of the car, right? It comes with power steering, I would hope. Nowadays, it's more like it comes with self-driving capabilities. That's a feature of the car. So none of those are benefits, even though inside of each of those elements, there are beneficial things. For example, you can get the self-driving vehicle. So you can, text while you drive. Now, I'm not suggesting, don't do that. Don't take this seriously. This is just copywriting education. Don't text while you drive. But so you can, get to your destination without as much hassle. I'll put it that way. How's that for a safe thing to say? So that's kind of combining a benefit with a feature. But people confuse features with benefits. And here's the problem with that. You fall in love with your product or your service. And when you do that, you start talking about like, here's why CopyPro is so great. It's got regeneration. It's got dynamic blueprints. It's coded in XYZ blockchain YD4. I mean, no one cares. No one cares. What they care about is what will it do for me? And the what will it do for me question is all about benefits. So we want to get you off of features so much and on to benefits. And then I'm going to be producing a YouTube video either this week or next. I don't have the schedule in front of me. That's going to cover how to make features into benefits. But you have to watch the YouTube channel to see that, because we're not going to cover that here. But we want to talk about the benefit formula that I use most often, and it's the simplest formula you'll ever see for writing a benefit. Ready? Okay. All it is it's literally benefit without pain. So if you think of like, what thing will it give me? This, okay. So if you think of a sentence, it would be something like, now you can blank without blank. I know that's really hard. It's really rocket science, but this is a super easy benefit formula that if you start thinking in lines of benefits in this structure, you can write them all day long. Let's use weight loss as we always do for our teaching tutorial. And now I'm going to show you, so a breakthrough method to allow you to lose all the weight you want without counting a single calorie. That sounded pretty good, didn't it? Sounded like a benefit, right? Sound like something you'd write as a bullet point. Hey, buy this product and you can lose all the weight you want without counting a single calorie. Okay, well, that is nothing more than benefit without pain. That's it. Benefit without pain. That's the entire formula. So you can go forever with this formula. You can reverse the formula. You can avoid the pain of going to the gym, and at the same time, grab a 6-pack abs and sit back and have a cold one, so you get the idea. I'm using just simple formula here that I can twist around either way I go and creates a very, very powerful benefit. Now, the reason you want to go through this exercise before you start writing your sales letter is because, again, benefits are what sell things. Benefits sell things. Just think of benefits as one of the number one selling tools you'll ever use. If you can write out a list of 15, 20 benefits using this very, very, very simple formula, you are halfway to a sales page. You are more than halfway to an email campaign. You are so close. Now, the good thing is in case you're wondering, GrooveCopyPro writes benefits for you, as you probably have gathered, right? It creates all these for you. And as we showed you last week, you can also combine these benefits with bullets, and you get this really badass looking long list of things that you can use to sell your product or service. But I want to give you the techniques in all of these trainings, and so does Mike, so that you don't walk away, having to get some software. We all want you to get it, of course, because it's going to be beneficial to you. But I want to give you training that you can use to say, okay, I can do this on my own. So that's how you start doing it on your own. And I would love to see some folks watching us right now write out a few benefits for their product or service using this simple formula. What is the pleasure without the pain? That's it. I'm going to give you this pleasure without the pain. So that's another easy way to look at it. I said benefit without pain because I'm thinking benefits, but it's actually pleasure without pain. So pleasure without pain is super easy to remember, and it's one that you can easily write. So I'd love to see what people are writing here, Mike. So Mike, what would you say to give me a benefit using pleasure without pain, or gain without pain? There's another way of saying this, gain without pain.
I'm going to do a cop out if that's okay, because it's one that I always use as an example.
Okay.
When I'm doing this, so I know I'm going to come up with a decent one, and then I'll have to come up with another one. But it's how to lose 17 pounds in 10 days without any additional exercise or giving up any of the foods that you love.
Okay, great. But I was going to challenge you to do a benefit, my benefit formula for Groove.
Okay, for Groove.
Yeah.
All right. So, how to automate your business easier and more affordable without making 17 payments to 17 different software companies, all in one dashboard.
That's fantastic. Automate your business, near instantly automate your business without paying dozens of vendors, hundreds of dollars more than you need to every month. So those are just variations on a theme, right? So you can see how I could take what Mike said and immediately translate it into my own particular way of saying things. Look at this. Get top grades without all that cramming sessions. Elaine knocks it out of the park. First time up. See, now here's what's interesting is I think maybe Elaine will fight me on this one. And if you do, let me know. But I bet you that without that structure, that very simple pain without pleasure or pleasure without pain structure, it wouldn't have been nearly as easy for her to sit there and just type that out, because that's an A-level benefit right there. So that's what's really cool. Now, another add-on benefit formula, and this one's, I know that I'm twisting the arm of how difficult this is today, Mike. It's pleasure or gain. I like to say gain. You can say pleasure or gain. So how to pleasure, how to get. So how, now you can blink without pain 1 or even pain 2. I know it's really hard, isn't it? So the reason why would you do 2 pains instead of 2 pleasures? Because we are more motivated by pain, the avoidance of pain, than we are the gain of pleasure. So a lot of my benefits, you'll see, I literally have 3 of them. I'll say, now you can get the body you've always wanted without counting calories, doing endless hours of cardio, or ever stepping foot inside of a gym. Now, I don't believe any of those. Well, those 3 things are possible. I step foot inside of a gym every day at 1 o'clock, but that's not the point. The point is that if I'm writing a copy for something and I'm wanting, and I'm doing something where they don't do any gym work, that's what I would say. So my point is that I did 3 pain points that most people consider painful when it comes down to weight loss. Counting calories, starving yourself or whatever. I could go down the list of the things that you consider pain. But the reason we do that is because people will do a lot more to avoid that pain than they will to even get that pleasure. So once you know the psychology of that, you can see where we're going here, right? So we started with the very simple version, and all you got to do is add a couple of more pains on it, and you get the samurai complex version. Okay, Groove will save you thousands per year without having to use an incompatible patchwork of services. There you go, Rich.
That's a good one, Rick. Thanks. We're going to test that one.
Yeah. Rick's writing copy. Get the top grades on it. That one disappeared.
It's a new version of her last one.
Oh, cool. Elaine, get the top grades without all the night cramming sessions and giving up your social. Yep. There you go. Okay. Okay. So giving up your social life, I can remember just from, my days of college and grad school that was the pain point for me. It wasn't, I was the guy that would always stay up, and I wouldn't stay up at night. In fact, I rarely got less than 7 hours of sleep in college. I just set the alarm early. So I went to bed. So it was really boring, but I hated giving up the social life. So yeah. So if you know your avatar, and by the way, this all comes down to know thy avatar. And there's a whole long training I do on how to know an avatar, how to build a diary for an avatar, so that you know your avatar better than they know themselves. It sounds like Elaine knows her avatar very well. But you want to know them so well that you know every one of their pain points, that every one of their frustrations, all their dreams, hopes, goals, things that they would write in a diary to themselves. They wouldn't even tell anyone else. If you speak to them like that, it's close to magical selling as you can get. Consistently work out and stay fit at the time that fits your schedule without, this is good, Ziam, without having to leave your home. So notice what he did. He did actually 2 benefits in 1 pain. Consistently work out at the time that fits your schedule without having to leave your home. You can even bounce that off with that, or starving yourself or whatever. You get the idea. Now, it's super easy to do the benefit formula. So the question is why would you want to use software to do this? Because it's so easy. 3 reasons. I'll give you right off the top of my head if I can, Mike. Number 1 is you'll forget. You can write this formula down, and hopefully you'll never forget this formula, and hopefully it will be, put a little Post-it note on your computer. But most of you won't do that, and when it comes time to write it, your mind will go blank. This happens with pro copywriters. So pro copywriters will sit there and stare at a piece of paper and go, I just can't think of a benefit. And they're not thinking formulaically. They're just thinking, how do I write something off the top of my head?
And you have to remember the formulas, John.
Right.
Andy Jenkins and I did a mini class, a 1-hour thing on exactly what we're doing now, headline formulas. Mm-hmm. So one of them that we were doing, the really, really good without the really, really bad. And there were like 17 different formulas. And I remember teaching that and saying, oh my God, this is so brilliant. And then I remember just about a few months before GrooveCopyPro, before we did this, struggling for headlines. I came up with some headlines and they absolutely sucked. And I was always using that same 1 formula, right? But if there was a software that gave you 7, you could pick, this one's a little bit better. Right. And then what I did is I searched for an hour on my hard drive to go looking for this headline formula. Yes, there are formulas. And yes, and as you even said, I'm pretty good at copywriting, but I don't have those formulas recalled instantly in the back of my head. And that's the beautiful thing about GrooveCopyPro, is we can put in these different benefits and pain points and different, or go through the questionnaire, and it'll spit out the best wordsmith copywriting for these headlines, or as you said, benefits.
Yep. Yeah, and by the way, the benefit formula we're talking about, as Mike just alluded to, works fantastic for headlines too.
Mm.
You know, how to pleasure without pain. So,
Mm.
so that's a really straightforward, very basic thing. But again, remembering even one, let alone 12, is very difficult to do. That's one reason to use software. The other reason to use software is that software can combine the ideas together. So with other because there's obviously more than one benefit formula. That's the main one I teach. But there's 6 or 7, so you don't have to remember 6 or 7 formulas. So you can just rely on the software to do it for you.
Yeah.
And the third reason that I think is kind of cool is the words that go before that word without, and the words that go behind that word without, they're kind of important. So if you have software that's kind of filled that in for you, especially if you use like one of our pre-built niches where we know the copy is good. Well, now you have something that is more likely to work than not. So that's another reason. And fine, I'll give you 4. I said 3. I'm going to give you one more for your money. I'll give you 4 reasons. Also, as you go along, and this is part of what GrooveCopyPro does. As you go along, you'll see your sales letter or your opt-in page, wherever you're using your benefits. And you'll think of something new. Somebody will have said something. Your wife or husband would have said, hey, you know that it also does this. And you go, that's a great idea. Or a customer will say, you know what I found that your product does is this. And you go, oh, I never thought about that, because we don't see everything. So you can just open GrooveCopyPro up, click the plus button, add your new benefit, and you'll never, ever lose it. So this is, how many things have you lost in the shower? You're in the shower, you're going, oh, that's a great idea. I finally solved the problem. By the time you get out of the shower, you forget what it is. Or, you're having a dream, you're trying to recall your dream, you wake up and you can't recall your dream. Well, that's what we want you to avoid when it comes down to copy. You never have to do that. So you can write it down. You'll have one place to keep it and you'll never forget it. So those are the 4 reasons we suggest using software for it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Don and I were talking today because we're going to be hiring a copywriter. And I said, hey, I think we need a senior copywriter and a junior copywriter. And I start going off all of these things. And you know what Donna said to me? She said, no, I'm going to hire 2 junior copywriters and teach them how to use GrooveCopyPro. And I went,
right.
I swear to God, that was
a
conversation that happened today, because we're going to be looking for to add on to our team a couple of more copywriters.
So it's so much cheaper to hire juniors and give them A-level copy to work with. And then they can also learn the patterns that way. So a lot of people do that. A lot of people use CopyPro for that. And I want to circle back to what we originally stated about the product features. There's another thing I wanted to add as a tip today for you guys. And that's when you're writing the stuff out, and you should write it out like on a sheet of paper, before, or if you Google Doc or whatever you like, before you start writing anything related to an email campaign or a sales letter for sure, or webinar for sure, is you write out these bullets and benefits and all this stuff. You write a few more things like rebuttals, like what's some objections that people would have. But one of the things that you're writing out as well is, again, the features of the product. So GrooveCopyPro comes with X, Y, and Z, right? But when you write out the features of those products, if you can say GrooveCopyPro comes with a titanium handle. Okay, I'm making this up obviously because we're just doing this as a tutorial. Comes with a titanium handle. But you hear this all the time. Like, this knife comes with a titanium handle, and you're going, what does that mean for me? Right. So if you just ask this question, it will save you. It will make you so much more money. And it's so easy to do. If you just add just these 3 words to the end of any product feature that you have, so you can blank.
Yeah. So you can.
Yeah. So you can. So it comes with a titanium handle. So you can, I have to fill it in now. So you can clean much easier, or so that you can clean, so that you can get it clean faster, or whatever the titanium handle would do, right? So that is a massive difference. So people don't do that. You see it well done on infomercials, but you do not see it well done on product descriptions and Amazon, Shopify product descriptions. They're just bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. We don't care about it comes with an 8.35 gigahertz processing chip.
Oh my goodness. I always look at that as the one thing that Apple knows that like Android and Samsung don't. Apple has always been so you can. What that means is here's what the end product looks like, and everybody like Apple comes up with words like Retina display, and then they say, let us tell you what that means, as opposed to, I don't know what the hell megapixels means. I don't even know what 1080p means. It's 1,000 lines, but like whatever. But when you start giving me Retina display, and then they go into a 4-minute commercial of what the so you can is, that's where they're brilliant, where they separate themselves.
Totally. Yeah. Massive difference. So just the so you can question will turn every feature you have into a selling point, because right now your features are not selling points. And here's the caveat to that. Your features are not selling points unless you are selling to the top 5% of your clientele. In other words, they know the product. I'm specifically looking for a hard drive that has Thunderbolt 3 capacity. I bought this I bought a RAID drive a few days ago because I need a drive that's faster than my machine drive, because I'm using all these high 150, 200 gigabyte video files. And so I was looking for, I knew the speed. So I said Thunderbolt 3, it has to run with a Thunderbolt 3 cable. So I knew that. So I was looking specifically for that. But guess what? Well, it was easy for me because there was only one. So it was like, well, there's two, but the one, two was just ridiculous. So there was only one that fit. So that was an easy choice. But if there would have been 6, different drives, the one that would have been written the best would have been the one that sold me. So that's the problem, is that you've got to make sure that you're not just saying, oh, it comes with this, and to LaCie's credit, they said, transfer files near instantly thanks to our 500 megabyte per second. Yeah. So in other words, there's the benefit. Okay. There's the feature, the 500 megabyte per second, transfer, or whatever it was.
Yeah. Some things, John, have been branded for decades. And it can go, and it's usually not our products, right? It can be, let's say BMW can say, I'll make up the year, but like, let's say 101 years of German engineering. Okay, great. German engineering, we understand those things, or Teflon, or, Kevlar, and certain things like that. But those things don't always need to so you can, because they've been branded for years, but that is very, very rarely the case with our products. When we're talking about these things, we can't assume that the customer knows what that means. Like when you said a titanium handle, like aren't all knives titanium? No, they're not. So this, and then you go and you explain the difference between this and steel, lasts longer, sharpens quicker, stays sharp longer, all those different types of things.
Exactly. Yeah. So think of your simple formula, and think of for the benefits, and also think of your features as turning those into benefits as well. So that's the gist of the benefit lesson. But also, lastly, a thing I want to say on this is circle back to the importance of writing these first. The reason why you want to write these first, now I'm assuming you don't have GrooveCopyPro and you're having to write these by hand, right? The reason why you want to write these first and bullets first is to give you a feel for why you would buy the product yourself. What would sell you? So if you can write out the bullets and benefits that would sell you, this is going to help you write the copy that will sell the customer. What would sell you? So for a fact that if you wrote down, it comes with a titanium handle, that you need to be asking yourself, well, would this sell me? And now here's where it gets tricky. A copywriter will tell you immediately that won't sell me, because we know that that's not what sells anything. A marketer who owns the product will say, oh yeah, it's going to totally sell it. That's what everybody wants. So you got to get out of your own way to do this right. And that's another reason to use software. Software forces you to get out of your own way, and we won't let you stamp over your copy. So, that's the other benefit to do it. But if you want to try this on your own without the software, you got to step back and get out of your own way and think benefit, benefit, benefit. If you just keep thinking benefit, you're going to get very much closer to where you need to be.
Oh, you froze there for a second, John. I thought I was going to have to rush in like you did for me earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even tell everybody what happened. I had a blackout. I was in the middle of talking, and then
really?
Everything just went down. We lost power completely. The lights went off. My computer went down, and then I live out in the rural sticks out here. So without Wi-Fi, I have 0 bars. So I could barely even tell you guys that I had a blackout. So
my God. Yeah.
So my computer booted before my Wi-Fi. So I just couldn't get on until my Wi-Fi router rebooted. So that's what happened to me.
Cool. Well,
John, when it comes to benefits and in copywriting, they say it feature advantage, benefit, and benefit of the benefit of those things that that you talk about built into, obviously built into GrooveCopyPro?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're talking about feature advantage, for example, so like let's give an example of what that sounds like, and we can use our titanium handle. So the Mike Filsaime knife comes with a titanium handle, so that you can is the advantage for me. But how do you phrase the advantage?
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think so. Yeah, the feature is the titanium handle. The advantage is it's stronger, so it won't bend. It's safer. It'll last longer, and then the benefit is I'll be able to prep my vegetables easier.
Okay, cool. So the only thing I do differently is I think of the advantage part of that as being, the titanium handle that separates our knives from every other knife. So it's going to say, or let's say that was true, that immediately makes our knife last 4 years longer. So that's the advantage, right? It's not a benefit. It's just something to the tool itself. And we're using knives just because it's easier to think through this kind of stuff. But so I tend to not even dwell on advantages, which I probably should do more often, and primarily because I don't write a lot of offers for physical products. So that's one.
Got it.
Reason. So but that's how the advantage area of that is. The way I look at it is, what advantage does this give you over another product of a similar nature, or what advantage does this give you? Period. Meaning that so it comes with 4-wheel drive, so that it can pull you out of any snowstorm. Okay, well that's also a benefit. So I mean, there's these close things here, but you can also say a 4-wheel drive to give you greater ease and comfort, knowing that you can pull yourself out of any snowstorm or anything. So I'm kind of combining the two together, or a 4-wheel drive, and again if I do something that's effective, comparing it to a different product, unlike our other competitors, this comes with a 4-wheel drive. So that's basically how I do the advantage thing.
Yeah, I look at the advantage in the sense of like your overall product has a USP, and then it's kind of like the USP of each like different bullet point. So I'll go back to like kind of like the car days, right? We used to have the featured benefit in the airbags things, right? Not all airbags had. Every car had airbags, but not all airbags had gold-plated sensors. So the feature was that we had airbags. Our advantage was that our sensors are gold-plated. So what that means is they're not going to rust. And 5 years from now, if your daughter is driving this car, you can rest assured that these sensors are going to go off when needed. They won't rust. They'll connect better. Gold is a better conductor. Blah 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 blah. And so I think, if you are looking at anything that you have, whether it's a pop-up software or your landing page software does pop-ups, right? That's a feature, right? And then, but what's the USP about our pop-ups? The advantage is we come with 40 different designs, and it's already built into Groove. So you got to look at your feature as something sometimes that is out there that other people have. What is your advantage? And I think that even like just the way we said it, the titanium is kind of like the advantage of the feature is, hey, it's made of this type of metal. The advantage is this particular metal is titanium.
Or it can stand heat up to 8,000 degrees. Those kind of things. So if anyone's got any questions regarding where we go from features to advantages to benefits, let us know. You can combine all three of those very easily into one contiguous thing. So that's kind of cool. And
one of the things, John, that I know that you do as well is you like to go from the tangible benefit to the abstract benefit. So like there's a benefit of, and I forget the way you phrase it, but there's a benefit of losing 7 pounds, but there's another benefit of being able to fit in your wedding dress from 20 years ago. Right. And one of them is, it's just a factual statement, and one is something that they envision. How do you see that? Because I know GrooveCopyPro does that in the way you ask questions.
Yeah, it does. So we help you. It's called dimensionalization. We help you dimensionalize things. Now that's through the training. So if you just click the buttons and you don't watch any of the video training that comes with it, the videos are only a few minutes long each. Usually it comes with each section. But in the videos, I'll talk about all these juicy little tidbits, like for example, dimensionalization. Dimensionalization is where I say, instead of saying, hey, this will help you lose 20 pounds, I will take that and say, well, how can I put that into a dimensionalized format that someone, rather than hears the benefit, they see and feel the benefit. So I can say, imagine it's easily slipping on your wedding dress from 20 or even 30 years ago, or that stubborn pair of jeans, that favorite pair of jeans in your closet that just now you can't even squeeze into it all. Imagine being able to slip them on with ease. That's dimensionalizing, in this case, the benefit. So I dimensionalize everything, the pain, the benefit, everything. So so that's a way to think about it. So if you can think about how can your customer see and feel something rather than just read something, you've gone a massive step forward into getting into better copy and better conversions.
Yeah. And a lot of that comes in with, like you said, the so you can, and, asking more questions. Simone put in the benefit of the benefit. It's like, okay, you lost 7 pounds, but what happens with 7 pounds? Well, I'm going to feel better. I'm going to be healthier. I can get upstairs easier without breathing. Right. And then you can start expanding on you started with a feature that gave you a benefit, and then you could start expanding on all of those dimensionalizations, as John said there.
Here's another thing you can do. I love to do this in weight loss offers. Say this was going to have, like, you're going to, I wouldn't say this in a real offer, by the way, because it's a compliance issue, but just for conversation.
Getting the point across. Yeah.
Yeah. So during your first week, you're going to drop 7 pounds. Now, did you know that 7 pounds is the difference between seeing the sides of your hips poke out of your skirts or of your jeans and having flat sides on your jeans? So I just painted like this. That's only 7 pounds. Well, that's true. That would, you couldn't possibly be too much over the 7 pounds, right? So I can take that and paint a picture that I know that my audience, which is in this case is females, they don't like the euphemisms or saddlebags or whatever you want to call it. They don't like that look of that, the fat on the oblique of the outside of the thigh. So if I can show them paint them a picture saying, imagine, it's even less than 7 pounds. Imagine that just shrinking like that. So now they're seeing the 7 pounds where I'm wanting them to see the 7 pounds. Or imagine it happening in your tummy, so you can see 7 pounds off your tummy. Man, what would that look like? I'll even show what 7 pounds of fat will look like. And by the way, 7 pounds of fat I would hold a pound of fat in my hand about this big, and it's about this big. If anyone hasn't seen one, so imagine holding 7 pounds. It's like holding a lot. So all this off your belly, that's dimensionalization. So they're seeing it. They can't get around not seeing it, and those are that's the best way, in my opinion, to write copy, especially when you're talking about pain points. Okay. So pain points, again, because we're more motivated by pain than pleasure. If we go into dimensionalization of the pain points, then you get some really potent copy. I mean, you really do.
Exactly. And John, we're going to do a quick little commercial break live about GrooveCopyPro. But Clive says here, I'm hearing advantage relates to comparison and competitive advantages versus benefit equals what's in it for me. Right. Mm-hmm. The benefit really paints that picture of how your life is transformed, what the promised land looks like in your life once you have these things. And again, what we're doing right now is we're teaching you something that's formulaic, which is fantastic, as long as you can find your notes or remember the formulas, which is the case. And even for me, when I have to do copy and I get to the bullets and I need to start doing features, I have to remember, okay, feature, advantage, benefit of the benefit. And I have to go through and that only would sometimes work for me for my first 3 bullets. I need some other formulaics. And if I don't have them, I end up with 13 bullets. And John Benson will tell you, the more bullets on the page, the higher your conversions. How many bullets are too much? How much money do you like in your bank account? Bullets are what people stop, and you're just getting slammed with end results, good without the bad. All these different things come in. Let's take a look over here at GrooveCopyPro. You can go to GrooveCopyPro.com. And the first thing we want to let you know is that there's a little button right here that says podcast. What is that? That's actually what we're doing right now. We're doing a podcast on copywriting every Wednesday called Groove Copy Pro. It's a video podcast, and then we upload these in different areas. So if you click that, you'll notice right here, you can enter your name and your email address, and you will be notified about these trainings. So even if you remember, you still might not remember, right? It happens to me all the time. I know that I'm getting on a live webinar in 5 minutes, and then John Benson is texting me, and I'm like, oh my God, I went to make a sandwich and I completely got sidetracked. So get notified, and you'll make sure that you'll never miss. In the future, we're going to be giving you information where you can put your phone number. We'll even send you text messages. So that's the first thing you want to do. Next, take a look at the website. Here's a quick 3-minute video right here that'll walk you through the premise of what the software is. But our recommendation, more than anything, is click here where it says watch the replay. This replay will open you up to a page that has all the information that you're going to need to make an informed decision. This is a 2-hour and 33-minute webinar. Don't panic. The last hour is Q&A. John stayed for every question. I was on the webinar with him, every question that could possibly be asked about the software. And obviously, since you can go here and find the price, we're going to cut right to the chase right here. You can see that you can buy this for, oh, we don't have the price here. I thought we did. Oh, you click the button and that'll take you there. So there's you could get it for a one-time payment of $997 and two payments of $597. The choice is yours. Save yourself $100. Go with the $997 option, pay in full. This demonstration right here will once we start getting into here, you start seeing where we actually get a full demo into the software, so you can see how GrooveCopyPro actually will work and show you everything. So it's a great presentation. So that's our commercial for GrooveCopyPro. As we're seeing here, so many people in the chat are saying, I got GrooveCopyPro. I believe it was up here, the OMFG over here from Elaine. She said, got my copy of GrooveCopyPro this week. Oh my friggin' G. I know more about my clients than I ever thought I did. And it even goes without saying that if you are an agency or thinking of becoming an agency, John and I like to joke that you can be pretending to be doing an audit or an interview with your clients and just going through the niche creation questionnaire and saying, what do you think the number one pain point of your, you're literally inputting everything into GrooveCopyPro. And what you don't want to do is say, here's your hyper funnel. And a hyper funnel is something that puts out your 7-day email follow-up sequence, your checkout page, your landing page, your tripwire, your upsell, your VSL. It spits out everything that you'll need for a funnel. You have to tell the customer, I'm going to get back to you in 10 days. And then you can present them with this stuff and they're going to say, this is the best copywriting I've ever seen. And the webinar replay will demonstrate that more for you. That's the end of our commercial. We've still got another 20 minutes left here on Groove Copy Wednesdays. All right, John. So let's see if we've got anything in here. Nope. Clive was the last person here. We saw that comment there. All right. What do we got next, John?
Well, we're going to show you inside GrooveCopyPro what this looks like here, just to give you a very quick.
I'm excited about that. Let me drop my screen.
I'm going to pop over here into share the studio, share the screen, somewhere around here. All right. So we should be able to see this here. There we go, into the oblivion. Okay. In case you need the help, if we do not have your niche in our quick start niches, please look up here and you can ping us and we will write it for you. Kind of cool. We do charge a small fee for that, but it's very small. I mean, it's so worth having that quick start niche done for you. So I'm going to click remind me later to hide that. So if I go under here right now and I look at, let's just go under a niche, and it doesn't matter which niche. I'll do dog training. Doesn't really matter. So I'm going to go under dog training here, and I'm going to scroll down here. I want to look for my benefits. So I can go under goals. I can look at my goals. Here are my goals for dog training, and here's my solutions for dog training. So I can look at all the tips I've got here, my offers, my actions, etc. And I go over my overview here, and I can come to my promises. So promises are how we think of benefits. So we have two different ways we think of benefits. We think of a promise, and we also think of, naturally, offer benefits. So I want to show you there's subtle difference between these two. And there's a difference between this and bullets. So you might be thinking, again, John, why not have just one place? Because we found out through testing and through doing this for years that you will fill in the promises in a certain way that you won't fill in the benefits. And definitely that you won't fill in the bullets because the bullets has a formula. So we'll get you to say the same thing 3 different ways so that when it comes out in a sales letter or an email or a webinar, it sounds so freaking human because it's just different ways of saying the same thing. This is how a CopyPro does that better than anything out there. So we're going to start with the easiest thing to do is the offer benefits. Okay. So now we've got one little thing in front of here, and that's a descriptor. So rapidly see a reduction in barking, chewing, and ignoring commands without resorting to yelling or violence. Okay. There you go. Now you can see this right here spelled out as exactly my formula. Okay. But the only thing we added is a descriptor. In other words, rapidly, easily, quickly, but you don't need it. So you could have gotten rid of that. See a reduction in barking, chewing. That's the remember pain, pleasure, or gain, pleasure. The gain is to see a reduction in barking, chewing, and ignoring commands without resorting to yelling and violence. This is the pain. We don't like that. We don't like yelling or violence. So very simple to do, right? But now we have the benefit of software to do this. Boom, like this simple. So I can come in here and say, well, I want to gently train your furry friend to do all his business outside the house. And then I'm using ... from a dropdown. But notice that these are dropdowns. I can find the verbs, and this will help you complete it. So why use software? Well, what if you can't think of what you want to say as a benefit? Like, what if you can't think of what you want to say as what is the promise? What is the gain? What is, in this case, just the benefit? Okay. You get your furry friend to do it all the time, but it starts with the verb. So once I found the verb train, I went, oh, well, train your furry friend to do this outside. But that's, so we know that starting with verbs really helps you complete these sentences. Transitions, just choose the transition you want, and then all you got to do is finish the sentence. So I'm going to save this and go and do a new one just to show you what it looks like from blank. Okay, here's a completely blank one. And listen, since I love dogs, we'll talk about dogs, and this is dog training. So think about, just for grins, Mike, you know, what okay, so we know a dog needs to go to the bathroom. We know a dog needs to stop barking. What else does a dog need to do? Let's just think about this, and then we'll write a benefit around it. What else would you like a dog to do if you were having trained?
I wouldn't want it peeing in the house. I'd want to be able to.
We've got that one, but
Okay.
But I thought of one in case you didn't, and I just now thought of it, and that is to train we might want to train your dog to be a protection dog, a guard dog.
Mm-hmm.
So what if let's just pretend this fictitious product does all the above. It trains him to go outside of the house and also turns Rover into a freaking killer, you know. So how would you say that? Well, I'm going to do the descriptor last. Okay. So one verb which leaps to mind when you talk about like training a dog, right, would be the word train. But what's another word for train? And I want to show you my favorite trick here. Relatedwords.io. I go here all the time. Train. And I'll find all the words related to train. Now you can also go to thesaurus.com and look at similes. So that's another where. Okay, so prepare, groom, okay, coach. These are all good. Drill. Okay. So I'm looking at all these related words. Okay. So what's a word that we can use here? Well, it doesn't matter for our conversation because there's no point in thinking through all this, but I really like the word groom because it's such a play on words. Because when you think of grooming your dog, right, you don't think of grooming him to be in a gang. You don't think of groom, but that's how I'm using the verb. So that's clever. So I'll come over here and say groom. Okay. Groom your best friend to become your ace protector. Okay. I'm just writing off the top of my head, guys. And I realize I'm a copywriter, so that's cheating in a sense. But what if I said, okay, groom your dog, your God, sorry, a little dyslexic there, your dog to protect you and your family. Or that is C-level copy. Nothing to it. So I don't want to write A-level copy or B-level copy. I want to write simple copy for these tutorials. Groom your dog to protect you and your family. So that's a clever use of the word. And I'll say without the hassles of, and what normally comes with training a dog to be violent, without the hassles of hiring a professional dog trainer.
Yeah, that's the first one. So you don't have to hire the dog whisperer without paying thousands to a dog whisperer.
All right. So now that's the copy version. So I'm using the simple version. So here's the simple version, and I'm going to add a descriptor. So easily, quickly, rapidly, gently, effortlessly. So you could, I can leave it off, but I would probably use quickly. Okay. So my solution is to quickly groom your dog to protect you and your family without the hassles of hiring a professional doctor. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I wrote basic C-level copy. But it's because I chose all the other stuff around it. And all I did, remember guys, all I did was go over to relatedwords.io. It's a free site, and searched for the word train. And that's the easiest way to do that. Now, in the future, we're looking at doing a possible API partnership with Related Words so we can come up with other related words right here inside the platform. But for now, it's completely free. I go over there all the time, and it's a lot of fun, to be honest with you, because you can find stuff you never would have thought about before. So, but all I had to do was think of one verb, and I ran from there. Do you see how now it's so important to be thinking of verbs when it comes down to your benefits? But if you have the software around it, the rest of it is just drop and drag and pretty simple, right? All I had was to write this particular sentence. And if I wanted to go back in here and make this sentence better, groom your dog to hone. I'll change it to hone. Hone your dog. The ultimate home defense weapon. Okay, so it's just a play on hone and home, right? So I'm playing with words because I'm a logo file. That's what I do. Ultimate home defense weapon without hire. So all I did was change it to, now I wrote more copy around it. Is that bullet going to be better now that a professional copywriter wrote that part of it? Sure, a little bit. But would it have been totally good enough without that? Yes. That's the whole point. You only had to fill in this field and this field. The rest of it, you just choose. Okay. In other words, you only had to create from scratch that field and that field. Now I took an offer. Obviously, we're not talking about weight loss. We're talking about something totally different, but that's how easy it is to do this. And it's fun too. You could literally sit here all day and just go, I'm going to create a new one, create a new one, create a new one. And you have all these built up. So when you come into a sales page, you'll see this is like, following the ultimate dog training system. Now you can see a reduction in barking, chewing, and it's just bullet, right? Benefit. But we use these throughout all the copy. It's not just bullets. Like, my clients are raving about the fact that they can see a reduction in barking, chewing, and ordering commands. You see how we use that in a sentence? You never have to think about that, ever.
And it applies to any niche. That's what I love about this. I cannot imagine saying, well, I don't see it working here. If you're selling anything from physical products to digital products, you have something that is going to improve somebody's life by either saving them money, making them money, helping them get to a goal faster, or solve a problem, whatever it is. And I mean, if you wouldn't be able to get somebody's money without being able to say it does this and that, and this helps you expand upon that. And what I like, John, as you're showing here, is that if you have a pre-built-in niche, it will automatically give you 3 to 5 to 7 different things that it already knows about the niche, but then you can just pop on here and start adding additional things in there.
Exactly, Mike. And if I come over here and say, like, I'm going to create a very simple short sales page here. So I'm not going to create a long one here. Let's just do the simple sales that are here. And I'll come over here. By the way, it's first time through here. So I get through all the training videos and dog training sales page. And I'll use the niche that I was working in, which is dog training. Dog training. Oh, I don't know which one it is. I think it's the last one. Let's see here. This is our demo account, in case you're wondering. So scroll down here, and you'll see a lot of what I wrote in here. So we're seeing all the pains, making your dog stop digging everywhere, training your dog to be obedient at all times. Let's see if this was the one that I was doing here. Now, I don't have all the things in here that I need, for example, because I don't, I haven't. By the way, you see all the training videos at first. It's wanting me to add another niche because dog training was the only niche I had in here. So I go through it. I don't have my offer name in here. But as you can see, I just got a few things to fill out before I have all the stuff I need for an entire sales page. Okay, so that was not the niche. That was just, this is a niche that this is not the right niche. Unfortunately, there's a lot of them. So I'm going to try that one more time. And if I get lucky, I get lucky. And if I don't, we won't do the demo today. But that's okay. I'll do the simple sales letter. And I'll try this again, dog 2. And I'll try it with the first dog one. So if it's that one, sometimes it's the first one, sometimes it's the last one. And of course, we won't have everything for my name and all that stuff and prices and all that stuff because I didn't do it all. But yeah, Obedience training here. Yeah. Overcome bad behaviors. Okay. So here we go. So let's go, you'll coach your canine using corrective tools and techniques with less effort than you ever thought. Plus you're putting into destructive chewing habits, right? So right here, these are all right here, secondary goals. So I'm just pulling it, but notice it sounds like benefits, right? So you scroll down here further and we'll get into more of the benefit stuff down here. It's worth this whole sales page this fast. It's kind of cool. I think I just passed it. Sorry, guys. All right. Might have chosen one without the benefits in it. So I just chosen one. Okay. Put into destructive chewing habits. That's going to be a goal. And even Baron. Okay. So Mike, give me a second here. I was trying to find what we were doing here, but we're actually coming out with a new feature, by the way, where I can go into the niche and say offer benefits, and I can see the various templates that use offer benefits. That would make it a lot easier because I'm having a guess right now. We have 400 fields, guys, so it's hard for me to figure out exactly where they're
right. Unlike the bullet points last week where we were able to just easily export bullets. This isn't something that comes in chunks like bullets. It gets weaved into the copy. So you're trying to find a particular sales letter that had that particular feature benefit in there.
Yeah. And so, yeah, this is, I'm not going to be able to find it, but I will do this. What I will do is I will go over to a project and show you a sales page. Here's a doggy sales page. Okay. So we're going to scroll down here. Now, clearly hardly got through it. Okay. Why dogs develop behavior issues in the first place. While yelling at your furry friend when you misbehaves, stop digging everywhere. Okay, now this looks like more of what we were talking about here. So this is kind of interesting. So right here, here's the offer USP. We use the offer USP as a bullet. Isn't that cool? We use the secondary goal as that bullet. We used a false solution to complete that secondary goal. I wanted to show you how we're putting things together that you normally wouldn't think about. So obedience training, I'm going to use that for the obedience training mistakes. And this is how we're putting together goals and solutions and bullets and all this stuff to where you don't ever have to worry about doing this. Just very, very cool. I think that you find it very, very helpful. So here's a typical bullet form that we just saw last week, right? So I'm going to see if I can find, if I find a quickly, I'm finding, let's see. Promises. We're using promises. And by the way, I didn't get to promises. Sorry, Mike. Promises. Learn how to train dogs to be more obedient. Sounds a lot like a benefit, right? But it's not. It's a promise. It's an outspoken promise that you make to somebody. So that's so cool. So we're using all these, and there's not even a benefit that pulled up in this particular generation of this. So Mike, I will find a benefit. And there's a lot of them, a lot of templates that use them. I just happen to pull two that just don't. But I'd show you how these are being used, but we're live, so I can't pull one up. So, but you get the general idea. So we've got all the stuff in here ready to go. All this just pulled in perfectly, right? And all I have to do is enter a clever name for my primary cause, my topic. Pretty straightforward here. I have to enter the plus watch midterm promise. Means like, what's a midterm promise? It's very simple. Detail the results your product or service will deliver during the midpoint of their journey. In just how long you'll experience this. So midterm promise is going to be, I'll say you'll experience seeing Rover. I can't type today, man. Being outside. Okay, now I'm going to do something very simple here. In there, scroll down here, and all I'm doing is completing the fields that I need. Like I said, I need completing, and let's see where I put it. That's the thing about doing this. I should remember this. Don't do sales letters because they're long, so you have to you have to find everything that you're doing. So let me do a search for Rover here. Okay. Plus, watch seeing being inside. So, let's do 7 minutes. I just completed the sentence. All it asked me to do was complete the sentence. So I'll do the Rover thing. Plus, watch seeing Rover being outside in 7 minutes. You'll even amaze yourself with this neat. So that's how I found it. So I was able to create a bullet. I wanted to show you that just by filling in two different fields that came in two different places. In other words, this is one place, this is another place. All I had to do was just fill in this gap. Plus watch, so watch seeing. So now that I see this, so I'd say plus watch your dog peeing outside. Okay, I would say Rover, or just Rover. Okay, Rover's good if I can spell it. So I would just change it now that I see how it's used in that bullet, and now I got it right here. Plus watch Rover peeing outside in 7 minutes. Okay, so that would be awesome. So if you can teach, so all I did was fill in copy in 2 different places. This is exactly what you do inside CopyPro to build out your entire niche and funnel. So I would show you benefits if I could pull it up, but next week I'll pull it up for you. So I'll come.
Awesome. Yeah, I think, and again, at GrooveCopyPro.com, you just click on the webinar replay, and you can see everything in action with a planned out full presentation. We have a question from Elaine. She says, so you should go through this whole process for each niche, students, homeschoolers, teachers, coaches, professional speakers, etc. ?
Yes, absolutely. If you market to every particular niche, in other words, or unless these are avatars, in other words, if you're selling the same thing to students, homeschools, teachers, coaches, then what I recommend is cloning your niche and then changing the avatar to just fit that particular niche. That's a lot
easier. Because 80% of the questions are there. Most of the things it solves are the same things, and then it's how do you talk to an 18-year-old compared to a 60-year-old, a student versus a retiree or whatever that might be. Yeah, we had the same exact thing, John. I'm telling you, I'm not even kidding you. When I was talking with Donna today about what we're going to do, I said, because Donna and Michelle like to get together on weekends, and they do painting. So I'm proposing to Donna that her and I get together on a Saturday and just go through GrooveCopyPro as the people that know Groove.cm, the platform, better than anybody, and collaborate together and go through everything as an all-in-one platform. And then literally in my Skype group, it says, and then what we'll do is we will clone that and tweak it for GrooveMail. Then we will clone that and tweak it for GrooveMember, because we have most of the framework there, Elaine. And I think what you have is similar to us. We have obviously different types of clients. We have agencies, right? We might want to clone it and then talk to an agency. Are you an agency? And now agencies have lots of different problems that they have for their customers, right? That's different than a user. One, for instance, is they want to build a funnel on ClickFunnels. And now the user says, am I going to be able to put that on my own domain? Yes, but you're going to need to get your own ClickFunnels account, right? So now the agency has to have every one of their customers pay $299, where if they use Groove, they get 3 custom domains for their users. So that is a completely different approach that we're going to be talking to somebody that if they're just a user looking to use our platform as a sole user, right? So we would clone it and make a version for agencies. And now we would have emails that can go out for agencies and follow up. Even John, I know at the front of one of your websites, you say, I'm a marketer looking to, or I'm a copywriter, right? And it's the same thing. You go to different markets, and copywriters have different needs for your software than a marketer. And so you would have a different email follow-up sequence. So yes, Elaine, you just clone it, and now you leave 80% of it intact, and then you delete the stuff that was made for the marketer, and now we refill it out for the agency. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing in Groove. We're going to have stuff for GrooveMember, for GrooveSell, for agencies versus this. And all I could say is this: what the hell would we do without GrooveCopyPro? We would have to do the same work coming up with, anybody got an idea for a good headline?
Right. Right. Yeah,
that's the best I could come up with. I was getting on a webinar. It's good for now. We have this expression in the company that's overused. It's called BTN. It's better than nothing. Let's just go with that for now. And you don't want to do that with copy. It's the most important thing in your launch. It's the most important thing in your emails. GrooveCopyPro helps you with the subject lines, everything that you'll need. And if you notice what I said, I'm going to get together with Donna for a few hours on Saturday so that we will have copy written for the next 10 years. When will we have to go back in there? Well, when we add GrooveStream. Okay, let's clone it. Now let's talk about live stream. That's what you need. But that's what you need. Other than that, we spend a couple of hours. And one of the things that we didn't mention is if you don't find your niche in there, when you get in, you just click the button at the top of the app that you can fill out the niche yourself. But if you want to have John's team go through it with you, they'll help you develop your niche, which we've demonstrated in our previous podcast, Groove Copy Wednesdays, where we actually build out niches. We did one for our company Fit Class. We had a couple of clients that came on that we did it in our last previous demos. You could catch up on previous episodes there as well. And let's see, bang goes my weekend. Elaine just says that.
Hey guys, I hate to break it, but I have a hard stop at 1 o'clock. It's my
That's the
commitment
4
to
o'clock.
myself. And I would love to get more questions. I'm not trying to be rude, but this is the contract I have with myself. So
no, we said that at the beginning. We start sharp at 4 or 3, and we're done by 4. All right, everybody, that's it. We're going to see you next Wednesday at 3 p.m. for another episode of Groove Copy Wednesday. Until then, have a great day, everybody. Take care.
Thank you,
Bye-bye
Mike.
now.
Thank you, everyone.
You got it. Bye, John.